So, guys, we're going to go into a topic that, you know what I mean? It's actually something SSA reps could always watch this video and learn something about. These are the main things that people get so cranky and angry and pissed off about when having to interact with the Social Security Administration, which is one of the largest administrations in the world. It's massive. So I just want to go into these real quick and then actually explain why they're happening, why you're getting angry, why the emotions are bubbling up. Let's go into it. Number one, here's the number one reason, and we'll go through all of them, why people get mad with the SSA. This was true before COVID. Now it's more about phone calls. Number one, repetitive visits. People would have to go to the Social Security Administration for their retirement benefits, auxiliary benefits, their disabled adult child benefits, their SSI, their SSDI, their retirement benefits. They would have to go repetitively over and over to the Social Security field office. They would hate it. They would absolutely just not want to have to deal with that. And it makes sense. That's how it used to be. Now it's mostly phone calls over and over and over again to try and get something fixed. And then people, they answer the phone or you view them in person and the SSA reps will give you a different answer. Well, one of the things that could actually fix this is if the Social Security Administration had a massive how the law works bullet point list, kind of like a quick check thing, where if you type something in, a type of question, somebody, maybe a hotline at the SSA could give them, that was like, an attorney, give them a quick answer to help people understand it. That way they're not just relying on whatever training they can give to local field office people who tend to be the least trained individuals out of all the different SSA sectors. So that might be something the SSA could use to actually help out, is have a group of attorneys. They just sit, type a question into the system like a chat thing inside the SSA, and that attorney goes and gives them the correct answer based on that situation. Number two, emergency, crisis, and non-emergency medical treatment. One of the things that bugs a lot of people now when trying to get disability benefits is that they can't just have an emergency, visit here and there, or they just can't have, I went and got my medication updated, yada, yada, yada. They've got to have these two types of evidence, and people don't want to have to go through the cost. A lot of them don't have insurance to get all the medical treatment, and also the energy to expend to go ahead and show that not only do they need their continuous repetitive medical treatment, but that they also have these emergency room visits on top of that. People don't want to schedule in their life things that are necessary now. Like 2-3 years ago, they weren't even necessary, but things that are necessary now to be found disabled. They don't want to have to deal with it. So as a result, people get cranky because they don't want to have to go ahead and schedule their life out based on trying to obtain benefits. Number three, repetitive paperwork. And a lot of the paperwork is repetitive with the purpose, not at the local field office, but at ODAR, or they call it OHO, with the ALJs reviewing it to show you stated this on this date, similar question, you stated something totally different on this date. And then they've got you. Then it's a tough situation, because then all of a sudden there's a problem, because then they know, bottom line, that they've caught you going one way with one statement, another way with another statement. Your credibility is shot. A lot of people feel angry about that because they feel tricked. Number four, going to referrals. A lot of people don't want to have to go to higher up doctors. They want to go to just the regular PCP and have that PCP be able to dictate whether or not they are disabled. They don't want to have to spend the money, go to the extra time and effort to go to these specialty doctors, these postdoctorate level doctors, to get all this specialty medical treatment to prove that they are the severely impaired person that which they claim they are. Let me give you an example. Some impairments don't require that. If you're blind, you go to the blind clinic, they write on a piece of paper that you're blind, you're done. Some of them, though, they take quite a bit more, and it takes imaging, a specialist, etc., to show that you meet, equal, or exceed the listing, or can get a vocational allowance or a grid out. Next one, 5, getting the medications consistently and using the devices prescribed. A lot of people know how they can take their medication, not always as prescribed, but how they can take their medication to basically make themselves feel better, which is because it's not always in a prescribed fashion. It's not what the doctor told them to do. If it goes into the record that you're doing something that is not what the doctor said to do, instant credibility killer. They're looking to see if you followed what the doctor said and didn't get better as a result of it. But if you didn't follow what the doctor said and stayed the same, or got a little better, or got a little worse, doesn't matter. Credibility issue. You're not a credible person. Next one. 6, the wait. Expedited claims are now like how old claims used to be. So you had two sleds, right? There were the expedited claims, they would go faster, and then coming up behind it with the regular claims, right? A claim to be found disabled, to go through the adjudication process. Back in the day, expedited claims, boom, 3-4 months, maybe even less. The fastest I ever had was 2 days. Then the next fastest was 2 weeks. Bottom line is this: those days are over. The whole point here is that claims are taking significantly longer because so many people due to COVID are applying for disability benefits because they don't want to go back to work, especially if they're really close to 62, because then they can get on SSDI, not have to work from 62 to 67, and then basically not be penalized when they get to retirement age at 67 and take their full retirement. That's pissing a lot of people off because all the normal applications for disability, individuals that aren't applying because of COVID, they have to wait much longer now. 7, the light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of people get angry because they're always looking at the light at the end of the tunnel. And the light at the end of the tunnel, when it comes, especially with dealing with the SSA, when it comes to people who are disabled, they'll see some crackhead junkie playing basketball with brand new sneakers on and a newer iPhone than they have. And they'll look at that person and say, what the heck? I know that he's the brother or the sister of somebody I know. And as a result of that, that guy's disabled. I'm way worse than he is. So I should be found disabled. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. The majority of the people at the Social Security Administration that work with disability benefits do not know what a severe impairment actually is. They don't. It's weird. I started to ask people questions, not the exact one, but similar, that work for the SSA, and they wouldn't know how it worked or what the deal was. They wouldn't know what the definition of severe disability was for the program that they were working. And here's why. It's not as simple as that crackhead that plays basketball with brand new sneakers on a newer iPhone is disabled. So then people see that and they go, he's just, I'm way worse than him. That also is not the definition of disability. The definition of, I can barely move in the morning. I have such a hard time moving. It takes me forever to get out of bed. That too is not the definition of disability. I'm going to do a video where I define disability for you guys so that when you blow up at the SSA, when you blow up at your attorneys about, the crackhead playing basketball, it could be whatever, playing hockey or soccer or what I like, lacrosse, but most people don't play lacrosse anymore. It just didn't take off. But the point is this. I want you guys to actually understand what the definition of disability is, because none of you really know what it is. I've watched videos of other attorneys trying to define it because I got curious. I was like, well, who's my competition and what are they saying? And then I realized that the definition that they were doing, they would just read the statute language from the website as to what the definition was. I was like, well, that's useless. That doesn't tell you what a disabled person is. That doesn't tell you what they look like, sound like, what impairments they have in combination. That's useless. And that's what I realized. We don't actually tell people what to expect from how severe an impairment is. If the people at the SSA mostly can't define what a severe impairment is, if most of the lawyer videos out there are unable to go ahead and tell you essentially what severe impairments equate to disability, whether in single or multiple form, then you guys, you sit there and you get angry. We're going to fix that. It's not going to be easy. And frankly, a lot of you are going to be really surprised, but we're going to fix that. Anyways, guys, those are the reasons a lot of people, mostly, are angry with the SSA. And for that reason, I'm going to show you how to define disability benefits, because that seems to be the big thing, is that people automatically assume that they're disabled without even knowing how their medical evidence is used and what standards they have to meet for each impairment. So we're going to map it out for each impairment. And most of you guys are going to realize if you only had that one impairment, your most severe impairment, you wouldn't even be close to being found disabled. It's only through vocational allowances and the consideration of multiple impairments into your limitations with doing home and work activities are most people found disabled. I'll catch you guys a little later. You have a wonderful night. Wow, Shirley, thank you. Shirley. I really, really appreciate it. Donate $4.99. Thank you so much for also those helpful emails. I'm still going through them. They are amazing. Actually, today we were mapping out where the security cameras for the farm would go and all that stuff. So thank you. Guys, we have one more video after this. It's going to be a quick one. I'm going to make it really simple. I'll catch you at that. Give me 5 minutes and we'll be back. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.